With the best 80-inch TV, you'll be in for a remarkable home theater experience. At this size, you'll find some of the best TVs on the market that are perfect for expansive living rooms and home theaters. Among the top televisions of this size, you'll find smart features, accurate color, Dolby Atmos, and support for 4K resolution and HDR. They're also available in stunning LED, OLED, and QLED displays. Most will have many connectivity ports for you to connect devices, which is incredibly useful if you're using it as part of your home theater setup or in a conference hall setting because it lets you connect your laptop or gaming console with ease. So, if you think you're ready to buy a new 80-inch TV, keep watching to learn more about what they are, their pros and cons, how long they last, and other important aspects. We'll show the top 5 best 80-inch TV for 2022 on the market that will help you to choose the best one for you. And don't forget to check the product link in the description.
I think the girls with their nails done now.
Number 1. Samsung 85-inch Class Crystal 4K TV. If you want this size of TV for the lowest price, this is the model to look at. This is Samsung entry-level 4K TV model, and it comes in pretty much any size that TVs come in, including this giant-sized one. It's not QLED, so it doesn't include the dazzling brightness and extra rich colors that those sets are known for, but when it comes to visual bang for buck, Samsung's entry-level TVs are pretty much unbeaten. HDR performance is appealing overall, contrast is pretty solid, and there's a good amount of detail with 4K sources. The processing isn't as advanced as higher-end sets, and this means that you'll see the issues with its upscaling from lower-res visuals at this size, as well as imperfections in motion handling. But again, it does all this as well as anything at this price can be expected to. It's not bad at all, it's just pushing the limits of the budget. This is a 4K TV, so it doesn't require any great leap of imagination to understand it does its best work with 4K content. And no matter if it's derived from a UHD Blu-ray disc or a streaming service, ideally, in this case, Amazon Prime Video, because it has a decent selection of titles that use HDR10+, the $8,000 is capable of convincing and engrossing images. If your focus is going big for the minimum price possible, look no further, you won't find better image quality for the money than this. If you want to pay real-world money for a 4K TV without being somehow made to feel like a cheapskate, Samsung has you covered with its $8,000. A huge range of screen sizes, some very agreeable specification highlights and some genuinely impressive aspects to its 4K picture performance make it a pretty compelling budget option. Number 2. LG OLED C1 Series 83-inch 4K TV. The LG C1 was the first OLED TV to be available at this kind of size, though several more will arrive soon. This is likely to remain the most affordable of them, though, but still offer superb image quality, including all the advantages of OLED. OLED TVs don't require a backlight to generate the light for images, unlike LCD models. Instead, each pixel creates its own light. This means that they can control their own brightness individually, so OLED TVs are famed for how they can show incredible nuance in dark scenes, and how bright highlights can be right next to pitch black areas, with no bleed between them. This makes them a favorite among cinephiles, because the accuracy is fantastic. The LG C1 makes the most of all of this, with LG's latest gen processing making sure that details are sharp and color is accurate, while there are no digital artifacts in upscaled images essential at this scale. The downside of OLED is that it can't go very bright, so while HDR looks wonderful on it because of the infinite darkness it can achieve, it can appear washed out if there's lots of bright light in your room. In controlled environments, it doesn't matter so much. On top of all this, you can add complete HDMI 2.1 support for gaming, and a really comprehensive and easy-to-use smart TV platform, plus Dolby Vision HDR support. The sound isn't very special, but you were planning to add separate speakers anyway, right? The LG C1 didn't disappoint at launch in any way, and even a year on it's a stellar OLED option to consider. Its picture quality remains outstanding with both native 4K and upscaled HD, while a plethora of gaming options, along with a new game optimizer menu, makes this a great display for joystick junkies as well as a movie maestro. Number 3. Samsung 85-inch 4K TV. When it comes to delivering spectacular images at a huge size, the Samsung QN85LS03 AAFXC8 is king. Its 8K resolution delivers phenomenal detail, while the next-gen mini LED panel is fantastically bright for HDR, but also delivers the best contrast we've seen from any Samsung TVs so far. The 8K screen uses AI upscaling to really make the most of all the pixels, and really does make 4K video look better than it would on a 4K TV of the same size. It's also capable of making even HD and SD video look solid on the giant screen, which is no mean feat. It does this while also using its array of tiny LEDs to deliver incredible brightness for HDR realism, but it also features many more local dimming zones than any other model has, meaning that the precision with which it can show dark areas next to light areas is the best we've seen outside of OLED TVs. It raises the bar even higher, combining extreme brightness, color and 4K sharpness with unprecedented levels of contrast and backlight control to produce the all-round most spectacular pictures I've seen on a TV that's remotely affordable. It also has a bezel-free design that's spectacular to see. It offers excellent gaming features including HDMI 2.1, the smart TV platform is excellent, and it has speakers all around the edge for positional audio. The 75QN900A isn't necessarily an OLED killer. There will still be plenty of people attracted to OLED's unique, pixel-level lighting advantages. However, 4K OLED TVs are still currently eye-wateringly expensive, even more so than this. Also, for anyone drawn to the spectacular side of HDR, especially if they have a bright room to satisfy, the QN85LS03 AAFXC combines the brightness extremes of LCD with more of the contrast control traditionally associated with OLED far more emphatically than any LCD TV we've ever seen before. Number 4. Samsung 85-inch 4K TV. This is Samsung's highest-end 4K TV from 2022, meaning it's much cheaper than a flagship 8K, naturally, but it also uses Samsung's next-gen Neo QLED panel, which uses mini LEDs for its backlight. Why is that good? The LEDs are 40 times smaller than the lights used before, which means Samsung can pack in more of them, means you have much finer control over local dimming of the backlight, so contrast is improved over previous models. The result is simply incredible image quality, especially when it comes to the range colors and light levels that HDR offers. You get pretty much the least amount of blooming from light areas to dark that we've ever seen, which is obviously essential if you're using this as a home cinema screen in a darkened room. Built-in audio quality is even impressive, with speakers around the edges of the screen providing more width and height to sound than most TVs can muster. It's no replacement for a proper sound system, but if you do want this as a standard living room TV, the audio is pretty good. It's also one of the best TVs in the world for gaming, thanks to having 4 HDMI 2.1 ports, which means it's ready for the 4K 120Hz images and variable refresh rate support of next-gen consoles. Samsung has also introduced a new game bar interface, which helps you to get the lowest lag rates possible, and to see exactly what settings you're running. Finally, the design is just astounding. It's so incredibly thin, and there's just a single cable from the panel itself, which leads to a separate One Connect box. This is where all your HDMI connections are, and can be hidden in a TV unit or similar, with a tiny lead taking video and power to the screen itself. This means it looks fantastic and tidy no matter whether you wall mount it or keep it on its minimalist stand. Number 5. Sony A90J 83-inch 4K TV. When we reviewed it, we said the Sony A90J was Sony's best 4K TV ever. And that's just as true of the 83-inch version, which is simply spectacular. The 4K HDR OLED panel is powered by Sony's Cognitive XR processor, which does a fantastic job of handling motion and upscaling lower resolution content. There's Acoustic Surface Audio Plus technology for audio that's as impressive as the picture. Where most manufacturers clearly assume you're going to stick a soundbar on their sets, Sony has given careful thought to this TV's audio system, and it delivers impressive positional audio and Dolby Atmos sound. These issues are disappointing when the rest of the TV is so impressive. As we said in our Sony A90J review, the picture quality is breathtaking. Or beautiful. Or maybe breathtakingly beautiful. The A95K will join a number of other brands in 2022 by using its extra processing power to bolster its adaptive features, where the screens can automatically tweak their picture settings to compensate for different amounts of ambient light. For instance, the A95K will get new ambient modes for optimizing pictures from both Netflix and Sony's own Bravia core streaming service. If you're looking for the even more recent 2022 A90K, we haven't yet had the chance to witness what the A95K might be capable of in picture or audio quality terms. On paper, though, despite the A90J being one of the finest TVs around, and getting maximum marks in our full Sony A90J review, Sony's upcoming QD OLED set could still be a huge leap forward in image quality. It's incredibly exciting. Here's hoping, then, that the A95K not only lives up to the hype, but does so at a price we won't need to win the lottery to afford.